Very good. Depot, train stop ores. This is a crude provider. Rails. This is like the most annoying part now. Definitely want to cross this way. Then we'll pull them here. Gotta get squeak through back in place. Okay, and then I think I'll very good. I think that does it. So now we have to there was a mod that someone made where you would tell it to look at an oil field like this, and then it would calculate how to actually completely um, like pipe it all up. There we go. Let's see, are we doing good on power? Yep. All right, so now we're pushing a lot of crude in. I have not the requester. Yeah, crude requester has yet to be accomplished, which I'll go do that now, and then I'll set up the schedule for that, and then we'll start getting crude queued up and stored and ready for refining. But making that whole oil refinery thing would be difficult. Anyways, that one mod, it was really cool. It gave you like, I think it gave you a blueprint, and you would drag it over the field, including so that the box would include all the oil field tiles, and then it would take that and it would auto calculate, like it would then create a blueprint, which you could then place over top. So it would when you put it over top of the oil fields and then you hit whatever, it would then calculate like where to place pipe to connect everything and put down those oil derricks or oil pumps, pump jacks, whatever. It would do all of that, and it would produce a blueprint that you then placed over top, and then your robots could drop it all down. Really convenient. I saw it in action. I never actually got to use it. Kind of wish I had, because it's that part right there is always annoying. All right, crude requester, and I already set that. Ugh. Need to get squeak through back in. So this guy has no fuel yet. I'll remedy that in a minute. This guy is going to go to the crude depot. Inactivity 5 seconds, and then it will go to the crude provider until full cargo or 30 seconds had passed, and then crude requester until empty cargo or time passed. Okay, gonna grab a couple there, fill him up, and he's good to go. Stop there, gonna get filled up a bit. That should be good. Help them along. An additional 40. Wow, they're still good, even with the pumps going. Here's my fuel truck. That guy stopped real quick because of the chain signals. They don't have collisions. They block off sections of the track so that trains don't enter a rail block at the same time another train is already in there, and so that prevents them from slamming into each other only when there's intersections like this. Like a train will line up here and it won't be able to enter into this block here because these signals block it all off. When a train is already inside, it can't enter in, so it's not going to cause an issue. Okay. Well, while I wait, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't fill these out. So there he is. That's how fast it goes. These things attach and drained. So good. And then this pump here is getting everything into here. This will be my copper requester, copper depot, copper requester. All right. Let's pick up. I don't even know if I can create those refineries yet. I can. Requires a lot more iron and stone. Surprised I ran out. And 12. Ugh. And then how many of those other ones? 23. 1, 2, 3, and 10 of those. Oh, that's right. And the whole reason I want to come over here is so I could, well, I got time. Don't need those yet. I need that, 836. I think it requires 300, but the extra I'm going to need for the other bits. These ones. So here we go. This is going to lay down most of the individual pipes, not the runs. So this design uses these underground pipes in order to keep things separated, lets you do compact fluid stuff. I think there was a mod that gave you different pipes. So like you would have a crude pipe or a petroleum pipe or a heavy oil pipe, for every different kind of fluid, and those pipes would not connect to other pipes that were dissimilar from themselves. And then you could still use the underground pipes in order to avoid if you had two different crude lines that came close, you didn't want to kind of link up. You could still kind of stagger them and then run them along next to each other. But I think that was a little unwieldy. This makes, I think even the devs talked about possibly doing that. They decided not to and went with, a different fluid thing. The fluid history on this game is interesting. They had a lot of problems with it. And at one time this was kind of was it version 18 or 17 maybe? They had a Factorio player apparently had like a degree, an advanced degree in like fluid dynamics or some crazy thing like that. And so he came up with and helped him develop an algorithm that like very accurately mimicked fluid behavior inside pipes and all this other kind of stuff. And it was pretty advanced. I remember if you read the Factorio dev blog, they went into it. It was a really cool read. Um, and I think they ended up not doing it because to implement the algorithm, it just made things too slow. And they're like, well, we're going to sacrifice realism for performance because it is, after all, a game. I mean, this isn't something where like, oh, we rely on Factorio to accurately model, real life fluid dynamics. Um, Actually, let me cancel that water well, because I found one time if you don't have all the pipes in place and you drop water in there, it could potentially mix the lines and create a bunch of issues. So I'll put that one in last. So yeah, they went with performance over realism. But I mean, honestly, the fluid stuff works well enough. I mean, very few people I think would complain. You have to be extremely anal retentive, really, to expect a game to 100% mimic real life fluid dynamics, and it wasn't distracting. It wasn't detracting from the game to not have 100%, you know, fluid dynamics mimicked. So I think it's fine. It works. It works really well. I can never remember which one to use. Well, I need either. When I figure it out, I'll make the next one. Okay, so how much pipe do I have? I'll just use up. I ran out of. Let me cancel that. I don't want to sit here while these guys are running around. This is going to get interesting because it actually makes it difficult to maneuver inside of here when all the pipes are down. Let me get some more iron. Those will have completed by then. So the Factorissimo factories, when you put them down, one thing you have to kind of be careful about has to do with, did I make enough? 39, probably not. Let's get those. One thing you have to worry about sometimes, and this is really for the uranium enrichment stuff, because the uranium enrichers require a ton of power. Um, the factory has a preset limit on how much power runs into it. So the way the entire factory floor is powered is by this thing. And so right now it's, well, let's see, I have to hover over this one. The connection settings for the energy is 20 megawatt transfer rate. And so you can see there it says R to change direction. So if you want to put a power generation inside of here, you have to change direction. And then you have to change the throughput. By Shift R increases the throughput. So it's one way you can kind of put, thresholds on stuff, but then when you're actually dealing with um, when you start dealing with some of the um, bigger consumers, you have to 20 megawatts isn't going to cut it for a um, decently spec'd uranium enrichment array, and so you have to increase that. Also, you have to increase it if you were to put like a nuclear reactor set inside. It's going to produce a lot more than what you're able to than 20 megawatts output. So then you'd also want to put that stuff in there too. You want to increase the throughput. Okay, 2, 3, yep, this should be good. So I think, yeah, I have not, so I apparently have not researched the rest of the oil refining process. This one, advanced oil refining. So, okay, maybe, yeah. So if you see at the bottom there, there's like 5 things, and the two middle ones, where it shows like an orange thing going to 2 yellows and a yellow going to 2 petroleums. That's called cracking. So these guys will be cracking light oil into petroleum, and see, this guy will be cracking heavy oil into light oil. That one might be as well. Not, I don't remember. Yeah, and this is cracking heavy. Pretty sure it's cracking heavy into light, and then light gets cracked into petroleum. So the whole idea of this entire setup, these guys takes crude, and they produce 3 things. They produce petroleum, light oil, and heavy oil. So um, heavy oil can be turned into lubricant, or it can be turned into light oil through the use of cracking, which I feel requires water as well. So what ends up happening is you then have to, because all 3 of these guys are producing all 3 types, and so if you run out of room to store the heavy or the light, then it stops producing altogether, and you run out of petroleum, because you're going to use petroleum a lot for most things. So what you want to do is the heavy and the light that's also produced, you want to crack that into light, then petroleum, and then the light goes back into petroleum, so that you are just producing a lot of petroleum. That's the ultimate goal. Oh man, I need a lot more. How much more? 34? We'll do 15. 1, 2, 3. Just from this standpoint, about 34. Excellent. Turn him off, and we'll do the other sector over here. Hmm. 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do that. I'll overproduce a little bit. I'm gonna probably run out of pipe. Nope, I'm having to create pipe. Dang it. I'll get more. It's not a big deal. This requires a lot. Okay. But yeah, so advanced requires blue and sulfur, which I've already got queued up. I'm working on that. I might do solar. I might do solar. All right, well, let's go get more pipe. There's no sense in me sitting here trying to create a bunch of pipe myself if I can just go and grab some pre-made stuff. One, two, three, four. Do that. 31's not too bad. Probably still won't be enough, but I got all the pipe that's been created so far, so I don't really have much of a choice. I gotta be ready to pull these guys online, because when this thing fires up, I'm not sure what it's gonna do in terms of power consumption. I guess this will only give it 20 megawatts, which may not actually be enough. We'll see. This is basic oil processing. So that's going to properly do that. All right. I just did a copy paste there. So this is just going to produce petroleum, and it won't be till I get to advance that I'll be able to produce the rest. Just make sure I get these guys, and then over there. Very good. Right mouse delete. Yeah, I don't care about the... I don't really care so much about the modules just yet. Okay. Let's go ahead and create those. We're so close to the end. I'm gonna take one of those off. I think I need just one more. Shall see momentarily. Oh, that one. Okay, well, now I got a partial. We'll see where that comes from. Okay. Like nothing. Weird. Must have been coming from outside or something. Okay, so let's create that water derrick. And now this is going to supply water to one of the inputs here. I should double check. Good. Okay. So right now this guy only takes crude on the one side. But what's going to happen is when you go to advanced, it requires a water line coming in in order to do the rest. So I'll have that preset and ready to go. Done. Okay. I'll put ejects all fluid nearby pipes. Input mode. Every tick. Now that is not working, which means it's going to be the output pipe. There we go. So now I'm pulling in crude from outside and it's getting pumped into my refineries who are now producing petroleum. The petroleum is going to flow through this pipe over here. These guys are more or less inactive until I get the proper stuff. So that's where my petroleum is going to be coming out. This will be lubricant. I'm not too concerned about that just yet. I will put it out there though, because I do need to run a line of that in my other pipes. There. So it'll be ready to go once I get to that point. They're good on this. Maybe the advanced oil processing requires more power, but for right now we should be okay. Now I can do that. And I'll create 19. Be overkill, but trust me, you want a lot of petroleum. I'll just do that, and I'll probably pull it off of here and run petroleum back out the other way. Do this. I think that will be enough. Well, I could probably put another line, can I? Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, that should be good enough. And we can expand a little bit more later. I just want to have a big storage array of that. This I believe is heavy oil backup. I can actually export heavy oil if I want. I think you use the heavy oil if you wanted to do coal liquefaction, another way of producing stuff. That's more advanced though. We're not going to worry too much about that. Okay, so how are we doing? It's actually okay. I think we're going to be all right. All right. So we have our we have our oil, and we'll be working on other things later. So thanks for joining me. I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye.